Jelly Bean is a company that produces products designed for the 0 to 3-year-old market. It sort of came out of a necessity for me. About 3.5 years ago, I was a stay-home mom with my son, who was 14 months old. And one day I was walking down the street with him in the stroller and he kept kicking his blanket off. I was getting really ticked off because it was wet and muddy and dirty, and I thought there's got to be a better solution. So I went home and I drew up like a little sleeping bag idea. And I thought, well, if I could get something like this that would fit in the stroller but still allow him to be safely buckled in, then I don't have the hassles of the blankets. And I took that design to a person I knew who sewed and said, can you please make me a sample? After about a month of using it, I took them to a few stores, and that got me started in the business. And now Jelly Bean product is carried in pretty much every independent baby store right across Canada, and we're starting to expand tremendously on the East Coast and the Toronto area. And now we have 12 products in the line, and we're bringing on 3 new ones this spring. Jelly Bean products are designed primarily to help new moms and dads make their lives easier when they have children. For instance, one of the products is an infant sling, which allows parents to carry the baby around the house whilst they're doing household chores and things like that. The other product that I have that is the simplest design, it's something I designed 2 years ago. It's a very basic blanket. Fleece one side, waterproof nylon on the other side, and I call it a travel blanket. Initially it came out just in the baby size, and now because it's so popular, I have had to make it in adult size and family size. Some of my products are very high-end, over the $100 mark, but the majority of them fall between the $30 and $60 price range. The Jelly Bean product is sort of split into 2 different types of production. There are the products like the infant sling, the nursing pillow, and the Kinder Cozy, which are custom order, number of different prints. I have 3 sewers who work from home, and they each do specific products. Once a week I do cutting of all the stuff that's on order, and then I send it out every Tuesday to the home sewers and pick it up the following week Tuesday. Then you've got the other part of the line, which is basic navy, one color, one size, and those are things like the seat protector, the baby cover, and the travel blankets. Those are done primarily in factory production because it just makes sense. I can do 200, 300, 400 of them at a time. They're in and out in a week, and I can keep up with the constant demand. The reps that I have across Canada do most of the marketing for me. I rely on them to promote my product to the stores. I also get on the phone myself and contact all the customers and ask for feedback. What's working for you? What sells? What doesn't? And for the BC Alberta region, I do a road trip once a summer. Jelly Bean does have a website. The website was initially designed as a tool to communicate with the stores. What we've now implemented is a secure site where people can go online and order the product online. About 5% of my business comes through the website, and I'd say 90% of that are orders from the United States. We just came out with our first catalog, and I've gone to a designer locally. I did the photography, she did all the design, and then between the 2 of us we put this catalog together, and now she's working on hang tags and more inserts for the product. The sales of the company itself have doubled every year since inception of the company. The Ontario market is probably 80% larger than the BC market as far as the volume of sales, and I think I have about 80% of the business here. I have maybe 5 to 8% of the business in the Ontario market, and already those sales are twice the size of my entire BC market. In the garment industry, there is what's considered standard margin, and that is when somebody produces a product, they tend to mark it up 50%, and then the retailer marks it up. So let's say you produce something for $5, you would wholesale it for $10, and the retailer would retail it for $20. My average margin is anywhere between 48 and 50%, depending on the product. The biggest expense when you're dealing with garments are fabric and production. And then there's a percentage that I pay for the reps who represent the line. Then there are the incidental costs, like the cost for packaging, the cost for inserts, the cost of shipping. And those are all wrapped into the overall cost of the product. Keeping costs down is always a challenge in my business. If I order larger volume of product, I'm going to get a better cost on it, but I have to be very careful between ordering too much and having the inventory sit here and ordering enough so that it moves slowly. So I'm very firm when it comes to pricing. And I work with the suppliers till I get what's called contract pricing with them. I love the flexibility of having your own business. I get a real kick out of getting a sale. And I love the fun stuff about creating things for children. I love what I do, so it motivates me to keep going, and I just have this energy about it. I would like to see Jelly Bean become a household name right across Canada. That is my vision, my goal. I'd like to see every baby store right across Canada be familiar with the product. When I bring out a new product, they immediately say, yes, let's bring it in the store. I'd like to then expand down to the States and do the exact same thing that I'm doing in Canada, do it down the States. And that's scary, but it's also very energizing. And every time I look at the next step of expansion, I go through that, should I do this? Can I do this? Is it going to work? And then I realize I've got to trust myself and rely on my instincts. And if I do that, it's going to be successful.